What's up, everybody? This is Ripples in Wales, back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and having a great day wherever you are and whatever you're doing. So, I thought it's time we started to look at the level playing field and we started to connect it to BRICS. This is a hugely complex subject, that at least I find hugely complex. But we have to go back to the archives for this one. There was enough information left on the ground for us early on to understand that the trade wars that were going on through currency devaluations were a problem back in 2018, and Trump seems to have laid a massive foundation for this level playing field to occur in his presidency. Since then, obviously, Trump has left the White House in the US, and you have got President Biden in currently, who's making a bit of a mess of things, but I think everything was set into motion a long time ago, and we are witnessing a collective, connective attempt, and a successful attempt at that, of all the BRICS nations plus America to come together to create a new unilateral payment system. Now, we always have to kind of go to the past to understand, the bigger picture of things, and this is no easy feat. We have to reach a bit, and we have to do some digging, and we have to do some exploring, and nothing is fact. We're going out into the wild here and trying to dot connect. This isn't anything to do with riddles at all. This is just like dot connecting. And there's one guy who's the best in the world at this. This is the bonfire guy. You might not have come into contact with his work before, but he's amazing. We're going to look at his work later on. You'll have seen a certain picture a couple of times on this channel now, and this is this one, and this is everything in one fell swoop. It is a monster of an image, and I'm going to keep referring back to this because it holds so much power and so much knowledge in this massive, I don't know what you want to call it, collage of information. But the main things to understand was that back during Trump's reign, when he kicked Hillary out of office, I say that with a wink and a nudge, Hillary Clinton, he was able to upset the status quo. And the status quo was the dynasty of the Rothschild banking fraternity and the Vatican. He went around the world, and I think with a lot of help through a lot of other nations, a lot of these old dynasties seem to capitulate or at least surrender their power. And this runs so deep into huge, deep geopolitical kind of rabbit holes. But there are so many videos that you can watch on this. It's just so interesting. But you can see Trump is at the top and he's waving goodbye, and he's done the work already. He did the handover. His job was to come in from the knowledge that I've seen of it and the knowledge that I've been exposed to over the past 3 years, from the lockdowns to everything else. There was huge change going on underneath the surface of things. And this is what you need to kind of pay attention to, is that the lockdown wasn't a lockdown, was it? We can put our tinfoil hats on. There was so much more going on underneath the veneer of it all. Replumbing of the financial systems of the world, change in structure of old guard, and they needed to slow things down, I think, and that's just my opinion. It's not fact, but if you've got an ounce of consciousness in you, you'll see that it was nothing to do with the coronavirus. It was to do with these huge old dynasties. 1111, going for the last power grabs that they had within their control. So the level playing field, you'll have heard me mention to you before. You'll have seen a drop today when I just posted on my Twitter feed. Wait until I drop the level playing field bombs. Are you already in on BRICS equals the level playing field? And I got this from just recently going back into this information and starting to dig around the G20 and the BRICS nations, and going to look at an amazing an account by this chap here, bonfire guy, at Blay1. Okay. You'll have heard me talk about the level playing field lots. It is of deep interest to me, and there are a number of people that refer to the level playing field, but where the level playing field came into fruition was there was 2 or 3 accounts that started showing it. It was used in a calendar, which is here by BG123, and it showed this grassy meadow, which we can see from September, October, November to December. Okay, and it was, then that calendar was placed in the BG Christmas scene, as we're seeing here. But we had other insiders, you guys call them riddlers, talking about this as well, and we can see how that connects in here. And again, we're going to go through a little bit of dot connecting here today, and bring this back because it's so important that we can reference this. Now, this is the Declaration of Independence by Ripple Riddler. I just want you to see the opening scenes. If you're not familiar with this shows the level playing field, and it holds a load of metaphors inside that level playing field context that, listen, things are going to start moving. And it was to do with Ripple and their connection to this level playing field. And what we're going to try and do is we're going to go on the far end of this and connect the BRICS to the level playing field. But let's just watch a little bit of this first of all. It shows the balloon of Ripple being held down by the old guard. Okay, it shows a payment, some sort of deal being hagged out. There's the old guard. Oh, really? Are you going to put an advert? 1 second. No, we're okay. The balloon being held down by the old guard. A payment or some sort of deal being hagged out. There's the balloon tethered to the ground. Then we see all aboard. There's the Ripple Riddler with his arms wide open from 9 to 3 with these. There's some very interesting things here. Look, there's 3 sets of 2, 23, okay, on the risers on the balloon. Then you have the level playing field in the background. And the Riddler's in the balloon saying, if you want to come and join the journey, come on board. And how do we know there's going to be some sort of journey? I mean, am I just talking BS here? Well, we go back to BG's account, right? And they've told you tons of times. They've got this image here. A sailing ship, it's a quest, it's a journey. A balloon ride, it's a quest, it's a journey. And what does he say in his next one? This is the tweet that we'll next be watching on his forward-facing account. It says in here, for Lodestar 3, for it there's a test. 1 and 2 are given. 3 is a quest. A journey. 3 is a quest. So 3 is Ripple. Obviously the Triskelion. 3 Ripple. A journey ahead till treasures in sight. Okay, 3 is a quest. It's a journey. Well, you're about to witness a journey, a balloon ride, an adventure out into the unknown. Okay, this is what they're referring to here. But the Ripple Riddler here is saying, you want to get on board? We're going. We're leaving. You ain't got long. Okay, and that could refer to the takeoff of the. I'm not going to say the token price of XRP, but maybe the speeding up of the plans that's connected to Ripple and their connection to this new global world hegemonic currency. Yep, that's right. And then boom, they were off. Okay, and so we can take this scene and we can see, all right, it's the balloon's off the ground. It means it's been released from the controls of the SEC, released from the controls of the old guard. Okay, what does it was released mean? It's out the gate. Okay, they're out. No one's controlling them anymore. Ripple is now free to pursue its global ambition for payments, SWIFT, and the Internet of Value in the distance. Right, let's go back and take this back to BG123. Okay, we've got this fantastic calendar that tells you when this begins. Now, for 3 years, I've thought it was, the past 3 years of September, I've got it completely wrong. And I want to be humble enough to say that to everyone that, I get it wrong a lot. But things speeding up at the minute, and we've got September, October, November, December. That is the level playing field you're looking at. All right, we can also look for another level of clues. So we know that there's going to be some sort of takeoff, and you can define what the takeoff means, right? We can then look at this scene here. We've got the Riddler telling you that things are about to start being released and unleashed, okay? And we've got this fantastic scene here, the Christmas scene, which is just littered with phenomenal information. You've got the gavel, regulation molasses, which we just nailed the other day. BG123, right, posted the regulation molasses jar, tipping off in his tweet thread here. If you've seen this before, it's worth me going back another step to show you all. This jar here, August the 18th, 2019, this was posted. Okay, 4 years later to the day, okay, within 12 hours, the G20 released crypto regulations. And this jar is to do with regulation molasses. Regulation molasses. All right, are we there? Are we getting it? Are we on the side? Right. So you've got this this Christmas scene, and we've got the kind of the purple sock. Well, you know, stockings are generally what are hung up, aren't they, on the Christmas fireplace for children, and you know, little gifts and things inside. The purple sock represents stocking represents, you know, XRP, and the green stocking represents Bitcoin. We've seen this and we've talked about it in numbers of videos before. Go back to my early videos if this doesn't make sense. We can see that the Bitcoin sock is pegged in early September, and we've got the gavel above it, and we've got regulation molasses above that. Something is going to occur with Bitcoin. Really keep your eye on that. Okay, on the level playing field, I've got a funny feeling this is going to be negative. Okay, blue is like, you know, this little tag holding this up. You've got red tag holding this stocking up. Now that occurs, you know, between August and September. And here we've got this one tagged up between November and December. And we've got these pirate X's on the other image. If you look at my cursor, just to the left here now, you've got these X's. You know, the pirate logos. X marks the spot, treasure, right? A journey ahead till treasures in sight. Now that doesn't mean that you're going to get rich. I've told you all, set a long-term mindset, zoom out to 26, okay, and beyond. Okay, this is an enormous thing. But we can see that something's going to occur, whether it's this September or next September, I don't know. Okay, but in September, stuff is going to start to shift. Okay, in November, between November and December, we've got multiple kind of points in dot connects we can bring in to look at this and see that there's an enormous connection to, you know, something going on in November. We remember the 5th of November. A lot of the ISO stuff is gone fully compliant November 23. Like everything is fully running on ISO 20022 standards. So there's lots of things going on. But in the middle of that, between September and November, you've got this, you know, this burning down. Now the phoenix doesn't rise from the ashes unless there's a burning down. And in the middle of this, you've got all these tokens getting absolutely hammered. So just be mindful. We're in an area where an uncharted territory. But we're talking about the level playing field here. We're mentioning this is where we're going today. So we've seen it on the Christmas scene. We've seen it in the calendar. We've got references to Bitcoin and XRP in, you know, September and November. All right. Well, where did this bloody thing came from? Where did the level playing field come from? Well, it came from a video back in the day with a guy called Mark Carney, who is he was the governor of the Bank of England. So he's the head guy of the British currency, or the British Central Bank. Let's just watch this.
We're escalating at a fever pace.
Sorry, I must premise this with, this was taking place in the Federal Reserve meeting in a place called Jackson Hole. The level playing field is Jackson Hole. You're going to see him talking to a guy in the background is what you want to take into consideration. This is where they told you the plans, okay? This global hegemonic currency and the level playing field.
President Trump just moments ago further raising tariffs on Chinese goods in rapid response to China's just this morning
trade wars.
Their own tariffs on American goods. Steve Leisman is live at the Fed Summit in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, with immediate reaction from one of the biggest central bankers in the world.
Biggest central bankers in the world.
Thanks very much, Melissa. Here at Jackson Hole with Mark Carney, the governor of the Bank of England. Mark, President Trump
level
today,
playing field in the background.
China escalated tariffs. President Trump escalated. Talk about the global effects of this trade war between the U.S. and China.
Well, obviously can't comment on just today's effects, but if we take a step back, what's been happening is there's been the direct effects between the U.S. and the UK, the U.S. and China, of the actual tariffs, and you know, they're starting to get up towards potentially over the course of a 2-3 year period about 1 percentage point lower for U.S. GDP if they all remain in place. So there's the direct effects. But what's happening globally is a confidence effect on business business confidence, not just in the U.S. and China, but all across those supply chains and then more broadly, because it's not, as you know, just a series of measures between those jurisdictions. We've had issues with USMCA, we have issues around auto, we have still...
So this is all about, you know, trade wars with other countries and central bankers causing anarchy in the world of currencies that is creating devaluation of currencies, which is having a massive effect on trade. And he goes on to speak here. I think this is a beautiful gem if I can find it. Come on, my computer's struggling a bit today.
Take some time, and so it's the balance of those two effects. On balance, I've said this before, my personal view is we probably would ease in that world, that scenario, but it's not a given, and it depends on how it shakes out.
So, changing gears, last issue, Governor Carney, I really appreciate your time and thoughts on this. You dropped a bombshell in the luncheon there. That's the way I was described. It's almost like a mic drop. You are exiting this job, almost like a mic drop, and you
see that? Almost like a mic drop. We'll go back to BG123's account. Is it this one? Certain it's this one. Almost like a mic drop. Where are you? It's not this one. Ah, there you go. Almost like a mic drop, eh? Almost like a mic drop. You know, everything's laid out. Where are we? Sorry, let's get back to this now. Listen.
We need to go to a global virtual currency. It's a 23-page speech.
23. Global virtual currency. This is where it was discussed. This is what the level playing field was regarding. And it's to do with trade. Okay, the level playing field is trade related to fairness and equality between all the nations.
Very heavy. Give us the thumbnail. Why
just read the, I want to know, did you just read the conclusion of the speech, Steve?
No, I read 14 pages,
okay,
and then
good.
I jumped to the conclusion.
So what's the point?
Give us the thumbnail. Why can't the dollar be the global currency?
Okay,
Ooh, why can't the dollar be the global currency? Boom. De-dollarization.
It's the global currency, we know that. The challenge is that the U.S. share of the global economy has been reducing. The dollar's share of payments, not just financial assets.
We can move from that. This is the bomb. A step to a global virtual currency. Move away from the dollar currency, right? You start to see the picture of this now. So this is the Bank of England representative, the UK. And remember, London is the kind of the centerpiece of the world financial engine. It always has been, until the Rothschilds dynasty, you know, and their debacle of the past 300 or 400 years. But it goes back a long way. And Mark Carney, you know, I've posted in some pictures before, and I've put here, this is not a riddle, level playing field, up and away. You know, these were things that I brought out a while ago. Hold on, let me bring these down. This is where Jerome Powell and Mark Carney were talking at Jackson Hole. Okay, and I brought these up dozens of times for you. Ripple riddle, level playing field. Okay, right, and I could see what was going to occur. The level playing field, Mark Carney. So these are tweets that I've dumped out, and one more. Yeah, 2019, Mark Carney and Jerome Powell at Jackson Hole, the US-UK, the level playing field hatched here. Okay, and there was a link to the actual... Right, so we know that there was a plan to hatch a change in global hegemonic currency. And we know that they're moving away from the dollar, and we know that they were moving to a virtual currency. Huge, huge, huge things. Okay, but then how the hell has this got to do with BRICS? And there's so many little parts to this. It's so bloody complex. But I want to bring you into a video by the Bonfire guy. Okay, and this is regarding... Go and see his account first here. It's unbelievable. It's amazing. I'm just going to play you a clip here. Come on. You can do it.
Trump and the Patriots are doing, they are building a brand new economic system.
I think we are taking the moral high road by identifying currency manipulation as an unfair trade practice. It really undermines the principles of free trade. And it's a natural response to say, if you're going to effectively apply a tariff against American goods through currency manipulation, making them more expensive in your own country, then our only recourse is to say, then we're going to have to do something as well. Unless we call them on it, we can't begin to seek these broader remedies that I think would start to bring about a level international monetary playing field.
Boom.
And that's fundamental to authentically free trade.
Free trade, internet of value.
Brand new economic system. Not just here
Japan,
in the United States,
America,
but
G7s,
with other countries around the world.
Germany, Japan, England, Britain.
Once we clear up some of the obstacles in our path.
This is a meeting with the G7 here, okay? The G7, the Global 7, which is a conglomerate of developed countries, okay? And make no mistake, these guys wield some enormous power.
We've got many different deals, but we're having a good time. As far as UK and the United States,
Boris is hilarious, isn't he?
Trade deal, and I think it's going to work out very well.
Why do you think Trump and the Patriots have been making bilateral free trade agreements with different countries? Made a deal, or is going to make a deal with China, most likely soon with Russia.
As far as the currency devaluations, I've been complaining about that for a long time. And I believe that we will all eventually, and probably very much sooner than a lot of people understand or think, we will be all on a level playing field.
Boom. You see, this huge change is going on. Right. Trump is the linchpin in all this. During his time in office, he went around everywhere, went around every nation, and there was a huge change in structure. We know this by going back, or at least we're told this by this image here. Trump is the linchpin. Okay, the capitulation of the old Rothschild central banking fraternity, the old guard that were connected to the British establishment potentially, and the Vatican. Okay, and parts of, I guess the parts of that were the banking parts mostly, and then you've got the rotten ECB in the middle of the deep state. There was a lot of bad stuff going on, guys. There's really bad stuff, and I'm not going to go down those rabbit holes on this channel, but I know a lot about the dark side of the satanic wheel that was occurring across the planet, and I believe wholeheartedly that this change of structure that's occurring is for the betterment of humanity. Okay, it's to rid this dark satanic cabal. Okay, let's take the gloves off a little bit. Right, and so Trump went to Saudi Arabia and they capitulated.
Bin Salman, and Bin Salman is somebody who was not okay with what Al Walid was doing. Now, this is absolutely the truth. What happened the second day? The second day, the Crown Prince and the King both submitted publicly control over Saudi Arabia to Donald J. Trump. And how do you know this? Because they publicly held this sword dance ritual, which is a very, very big deal to the Muslim culture. And only the king holds the sword, who's at the very center, at the top of the podium, and who everyone else is around in support of. Donald Trump is holding the sword. This is Saudi Arabia publicly capitulating, and in one of the photos that we have, it shows the Saudi king, and he looks like he's about to die. He's in so much pain at what's going on.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, pretty reaching here. I think that was this is the voiceover from, oh gosh, who was it? There was two of them during the pandemic. Charlie Ward and Charlie, you guys have to remind me. Freak, was it? I don't know. He had an incredibly conscious mind. Anyway, so Trump went around all of these countries. He went to Saudi Arabia, he went to China, he went to Russia, and we've got this in various videos of him traveling all the way around. And this was a lot about human trafficking. I don't know if you know about that. Again, I'll try not to go down those roads in this channel, but there was a lot of bad uses for the petrodollar. Anyway, so look, the connections that Trump has forged with Brazil. Okay?
It's all going to be fine. We know everything that you said.
Right. India, China, Russia, they've all been done behind the scenes.
We know what's going on. And we're very much in well. Okay?
Today, President Trump welcomed Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro for an official visit to the White House. Bolsonaro has been dubbed the Trump of the tropics because of the rhetoric and policies the two leaders share. As Nick Schifrin reports, the two presidents are now trying to overcome more than 3 decades of Brazilian
So we've got
suspicion
connections
of the United
with
States.
Trump and Brazil. Okay?
Today at the White House, the leaders of the Western Hemisphere's
Buddies
two
again.
largest economies declared themselves
And we're going to
the
skip
same
this.
team,
We're going to go straight on to
allied
the deals with Russia. Okay? Where are we? There's another clip in here. So this is the United States and Russia. So, buddies, okay? Deals done behind the scenes.
Has just mentioned that we've successfully concluded
Before the lockdown, this was, remember. Okay?
Speaking of the football, actually.
Look, the ball is in your court now.
Mr. President, I'll give this ball to you, and now the ball is in your court.
You see the metaphors? Crack on with it. And so we've also seen connections with India.
A great American president, Mr. Donald Trump.
Yeah? Connections with his buddies in India.
Minister Modi, I look forward to working with you to make our nations even more prosperous than ever before.
Right? Then we can go to China. Let's go. We're 26 minutes into this video. We're rocking on today. I'm breaking this ground as I'm going with you all. Oh, really? No, I don't think so. Hold on. I apologise. I'm going to have to get YouTube Premium, aren't I? Right. Hold on. Fancy
President to actually be hosted by President Xi.
Right. We've got China.
In the Forbidden City. So
that's Brazil, Russia, India, China.
So this is your original form. Yeah.
You know, Xi Jinping hosted him there, right? So we've got a little bit of another clip here. Hold on, just humour me. This is going to be a long one, but
he's putting it on the table and he's saying, let's make some decisions.
Thank you for joining me for this critical discussion of the challenges and the opportunities facing our nations. Africa, I have to say, is a continent of tremendous
so now he's
potential.
in Africa. So the BRICS nations are in cahoots with
I
America.
look forward to hearing from
Okay.
you and your advice during the meal. I thought rather than just eating, we'll have long discussions. And I look forward to that very much. But I also look forward to getting to know so many
This is
of
so
you and
big.
so many of you I don't know.
I hope you realise the geopolitical size of this is
It's an honor. It's an honor.
monstrous.
I really want to congratulate you. Growing very fast, economically and in every other way. You've done a terrific job. You've had some tremendous obstacles placed in your path, but you have done real.
Right.
Poster child of this.
IMF, UN, World Bank, World Trade Organization, SWIFT, are they all about to be replaced? What did Parable Guy show you in the Christmas scene on the stick man? He showed you all of those characters which are in anagrams and various different ciphers that are on the stick man cut loose from the tower and the arm. All these trade organizations are now not under the control of the deep state. Okay, they're in the wild.
Now you see this chaos and in these speeches talking about protectionism, bullying, they're not naming names, but it's apparent who they're talking about. And in some cases, it looks like...
Right, you know, unbelievable videos here. And so we've got the connection now from the level playing field, you know, and if we just go to Bonfire Guy's channel, I want to give him a massive shout out here because he is an absolute genius. His videos here have inspired me. I've only reconnected with him over the past few weeks. And there's a little video actually, if we can have a quick look if I can get this done in time. Where is it? Okay, this is alright, and this is a speculation part, okay? Listen to this. This is quite funny. We'll just close it out of this.
people are going to speculate on different asset classes. People speculate on gold, currencies. I mean, you name it, people are going to speculate. When we think about this, and what I've said very publicly is I think the long-term value of any digital asset is going to be derived from the utility it delivers.
True that. Think about that for a minute. Speculation, obviously, and not financial advice.
So around payments, we think XRP is uniquely and extremely well positioned to solve that payments problem. It's extremely fast, at about 3 seconds per transaction, and it costs about 1/1000th of a penny to actually enable that transaction. So we often make the point that, well, where Bitcoin is very profound in solving that store of value, an XRP transaction's about 1,000 times faster and it's about 1,000 times cheaper per transaction.
Huge, right? So we've talked about BRICS, we've talked about the level playing field, we've connected the two together to understand that there's some sort of unilateral deal that's been done under Trump a few years ago before the lockdowns, and we can see the narrative now of the G20 bringing in crypto regulations, right? We can see that there's been a change of guard with this, and we can see that America's involved in this BRICS system. And I heard Brad Keim say yesterday that Molly Elmore had mentioned in his mastermind group that she thinks that America will eventually join BRICS. I wouldn't rule that out. I'd say the ECB and America. Okay, and it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. But this is where I'm seeing a little geopolitical game. It was all about Ross Vandermeer, what he was saying back in the day. So we've kind of wrapped that up now. That we can tie all this level playing field into some sort of architecture. We've got it in the shot here. We've got it in the Ripple Riddler, we've got it in the Bearable Guy scene, we've got it on the calendar, and we can see that it's the beginning, it's the start of this transitioning to a new system. The level playing field, we've heard in Bonfire's Guy's reference to the fact that it's about a unilateral global virtual currency settlement system that's going to benefit global trade and all BRICS nations, and also including America and European Union, Britain. Okay, now ignore that the theatrics are on the world stage in front of you right now. We're watching plans that were, in my opinion, that were set about many moons ago. Anyway, hope that's good for you. Hope we've joined some dots there. It's all about a bit of dot connecting. That's it. It's not financial advice. None of this is financial advice. It's me talking about Cartoon Bear with a funny hat. Please give the video a like and subscribe to the channel, and also share the video if you would. That'd be amazing. Just get the word out. The channel's really good. And drop a comment. I reply to every single comment that's sensible. I've had a few daft comments in there, obviously, but that's just that. You're going to get that, aren't you? There's always going to be haters, and that's fine. I'm all right with that. We can deal with haters. But this is deep dive. This is deep stuff. Drop into my Twitter, Ripples and Wales. Come and say hi. I'm pretty busy on there. Anyway, I hope that's good. See you all in the next video, and be blessed.